Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Many of our followers turn to us for product recommendations as they remove toxic chemicals from their everyday products, such as household and personal care products. And while household and personal care products can contribute to significant amount of exposure to harmful chemicals, such as BPA, phthalates, and parabens, these are not the only exposure sources. A recent study by the Center for Environmental Health found that BPA in sports bras and baby socks. And BPA actually enters clothing through the manufacturing process of making polyester, and which can help dyes hold and prevent static. The exposure of BPA through skin may actually be worse than ingesting it through food because the body detox process takes longer. And this is why we should choose clothes made from sustainable materials such as organic cotton and wool. And today we have invited Meli and Renzo Hinostroza from brothers and sisters from Aya Eco Fashion and Arms of Andes to join us to talk about these two fast-growing plastic-free fashion brands they have created. So we're going to discuss their materials, like a manufacturing process, and also their bigger visions for a more sustainable planet. So
Hey, how are you?
Very good. This is like super smooth. It's I think this is our second time doing like a three-way Instagram live. I just
Oh, really?
a brief intro, so we're like super excited to have you guys on.
Oh,
So before we start, like tell us a little bit about your background, like how you decided to found Aya Eco Fashion and Arms of the Andes.
oh, okay. Well, first, thank you for having us. Really appreciate it. I feel like I've seen you almost every day now because this is like the third time we're talking. Yeah, so I'm Melly, and yeah, this is my brother, Renzo, and yeah, so we started. Oh wow! So how did we start Aya? We started Aya about a year ago. Yeah, about a year ago, we started the clothing brand Aya. But before that, several years ago, we started Arms of Andes, and that's an outdoor alpaca wool clothing brand. And yeah, Aya is an organic Pima cotton sustainable lifestyle brand. And well, we started it because we're from Peru. Our parents are from Peru. We were born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and we kept a very close relationship to our Peruvian roots. We went to Peru constantly as we were kids, and my parents, well, my mom is from the Andes part, and she lived a very different lifestyle than we did. She was raised with in farm, like with her animals dying, naturally dyeing her clothes, creating her toys, and I was raised in LA, so it was very different. Um, and my father, he has a lot of experience doing business in Peru, exporting quinoa and taro gum from Peru, and be from his help, we were able to start a clothing production company. And so we started Arms of Andes. We made clothes from, we do and make clothes from 100% royal alpaca wool because it's a very functional fiber. It's temperature regulating, antibacterial. You don't need to wash it. It's incredibly soft as well. And when we started the clothing production, when we started seeing the process from the fiber to the finished garment, we saw the issues that were in there, the sustainable issues, and not just the plastic, which I think some people know about, but the fabric finishings that you see at the threads that are part of the garment that nobody really talks about, the zippers, the buttons, the bands. So we then created Aya, which is a non-plastic clothing brand made from the most luxurious fibers, Pima cotton, which is the parent of the softest cotton in the world. So Pima cotton derives from Peru. And then I think it was taken. I think Egypt has the softest cotton, and from there was derived the Egyptian cotton. But so Pima cotton comes from Peru, and then also royal alpaca wool, which is the finest fiber of alpaca wool. It's incredibly soft, and this brand is a non-plastic brand. It's the beginning of what I think sustainable clothes is. It's more complicated. You can't say it's not non-plastic is sustainable. There's definitely more to it. But yeah, that's the beginning part of it.
We're gonna need to get into it because I think a lot of people don't really understand what is sustainable fashion. So maybe Renzo can describe what in your words what is sustainable fashion to you.
Okay, so I look at it in three parts. One is the product itself. Is it 100% biodegradable? That includes all of the ingredients. In fashion, that would include the elastic bands, threads, labels, and the fabric finishing, since that is an ingredient in your clothes. Number two is the production process sustainable? So, solar panels, are you using lubricants, chemical lubricants in your machinery that can not contaminate the environment? And water usage, including the dyes, are they contaminating the water? So first is biodegradable ingredients. Second is a clean production. And third, I would say, is circularity. Can your item extend its life? Can you donate that item? Can you reuse the fabric? Can you recycle the fiber? And the issue comes, I think, when brands, ourselves included, everyone in the industry, will cherry pick certain things. So they'll say, we do circularity, but we're using recycled polyester. And recycled polyester always releases microplastics. There's no way around it. Or we'll say we're using biodegradable fabrics, but we don't talk about fabric finishings used. We don't talk about if the production methods itself are sustainable. Are we using solar panels? Are we minimizing the carbon footprint? So there's many ways to um, advance sustainability, and the important thing is to be honest of what level we are at. So us personally, we've started with being completely plastic free for Aya Eco Fashion and having a small carbon footprint. And we're currently developing a circularity program. We're trying to reuse our textile waste, um, using creating regenerated yarn and making clothes out of that. And then the more expensive one would be making our whole production based off of solar panels, and that's more longer term. So
That is amazing because I think, as you mentioned, so many brands they only think about one segment, but for you guys, you actually think about the whole thing. Because when we talk about sustainability, it's not just like for us, right? It's also for the environment, also for the workers who are making the garment, which is like super amazing. That's why, like, okay, when I met you guys have to come on and educate our viewers, like, what is this process is like, and how much effort you really putting in, and what are the segment you're thinking about? Because it's really complicated.
It's yeah, it's a complicated process because from the fiber, you have to know how is that fiber made? What is the extraction of the fiber? Everything that's involved behind it. So, for example, if we take polyester, that derives from crude oil, so for petroleum. So the taking out of the crude oil, the pipelines that are involved, the distillation, and the chemicals that go behind it to become PET. But before you have all of that, you have to search for the crude oil. So you need to start looking for it and trying to locate it. And that's called, like, I think it's the exploration part. And there, like, if they believe that crude oil is found in one place, they have to dig it up and they have to look for it. And then if it's not there, they have to go and dig it up again. So wildlife is disrupted because of this. I think they were trying to send like wavelengths under the ocean. But so these are just like examples of, like, that's one fiber. So then looking at okay, how is cotton made, organic cotton made? How is rayon, I think tencel, what is the how do you make that fiber? How do you extract it? That's really important. And I don't think many people know that because that's kind of behind the scenes. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys are doing all the homeworks that people then don't have to think about it, and then they know they can trust you guys and trust the brand. So what other product does Aya and Arms of Andy carry right now?
So Aya does right now, well, it does the basics. So it does boxers, underwears, sports bras, t-shirts, leggings. We also have alpaca wool joggers there, and everything is 100% plastic free. I even have actually have some of our samples. But even the elastic band that you find in the boxers is made from natural rubber and cotton. Um, and then we're also coming out with baby clothes. That's actually coming out very soon. That's actually going to be out, I think, yeah, within this week, it's going to be out. And for Arms of Andes, that's more outdoors. So that's your hoodies, your base layers, your leggings, also boxers, beanies. We also have a thing called slipper socks, which is 100% alpaca wool socks. You wouldn't use them like for walking outside too much because they're not because of the friction, they wouldn't be as durable. But you use them indoor and they're pretty nice. Yeah, and gloves and yeah, the whole set. You can be all in alpaca.
That is amazing. So we talked a lot about a material. I think people might not understand like how important these material and what are the difference of these materials. So like explain to us what is organic Pima cotton? Like how is it different from other cotton?
Yes, Renzo, you can talk.
Okay, so Peru is actually native to a type of cotton called barbadense. That's the scientific name, and it was taken from Peru. It's northern Peru and southern Ecuador, and it was taken all over. It was taken to the U.S., it was taken to Egypt, and a strand of it got back to Peru, and that's what's currently called Peruvian Pima cotton. And that is also the foundation for Sea Island cotton, Egyptian Pima cotton, American sub Pima cotton. All these come from this Peruvian Ecuadorian cotton. And the tradition is so big in Peru that the oldest dye ever found on a textile is indigo dye on cotton. And this was like 4000 BC, around there. So there's quite a tradition in Peru with cotton, and it persists today. And it's in this region, it's called Piura, that cotton can grow organically. So we use this organic Pima cotton. And so we get the cotton from the co-ops. It's made into yarn. We make it into the fabric. We make it into the clothes. We use cotton threads. And we have a section of it that is also natural dyed. And we're trying to expand that section. And we use eucalyptus leaves, indigo dyeing, and we're doing some tests with some other dyes, but those are the two main ones. We also have um, and this is the probably our most sustainable option that we're pushing right now, is our no our chemical free catalog, which has 0 dyes. So there's an issue that happens. Even when you naturally dye your fabric, it starts to harden. So even if we do like a eucalyptus or indigo, it'll feel a little harder, even though it's very soft Pima cotton. And Pima cotton is unique in that it's a very thin micron, so like three microns, which is really thin, and it's also a long staple fiber. And so that helps it a lot with the hand feel. Although it is so soft, even when you dye it, it doesn't feel as soft. So people have to add silicone as a fabric finishing. So currently that is the only chemical we're using. Still plastic free, but that's the one chemical that we're trying to replace, and it's been difficult. But with our items that are 100% Pima cotton with 0 dyes, we're coming out with a line that is completely chemical free. It has no colors, it's just a natural cotton white color, but it has no silicone fabric finishing. And there's a group of people that really want this product as well. And so it's still soft, but it has no dye to it. So
Oh, wow. So it's just like extremely soft. I can't imagine how comfortable it is on your body. Oh my God, it just amazing. It sounded so amazing.
But
So,
it's sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
Um, so like something to kind of know. So now that the clothes that you find, they all have that softener, that fabric finishing that's added. So when you feel the clothes, you feel that softness, and that's not really how the original fiber feels. It's definitely not. It's not like that. Um, but it's not to say that Pima cotton isn't smooth. It definitely is smooth. But if you were to take a chemical-free raw cotton and compare it to Pima cotton, you'll notice the difference. But if one is added with with like a fabric finishing or a softener, then that's completely changed because now you've added something else to it to make it softer. So it goes back to also the consumer, to how they, if you want something chemical free, it's also okay. It's not going to be as simple as you thought. It's not going to be, am I going to get all of these clothes in all of these varieties and colors and incredibly soft in different designs? No, it's we kind of have to go back to where we were before like plastic petroleum was made, I think like before the 50s. And how was that like? And the clothes were kind of plain and they weren't as soft, but we didn't have all of these chemicals. And it's not to say we have to go back to those clothes. We just have to be a bit more creative and work with our natural dyes and expand more into that. But it has to also be like we have to go back and look at how did we live before sustainably? How did we do that? And then essentially recreate that with, I guess, more creativity to the likings that we want. But um yeah, if people are want to really be chemical free, they have to know what is realistic and then how can we improve that.
Absolutely. I think we have seen a trend in terms of moving toward like food, right? Like we have
Yeah.
getting the recommendation, eat like your grandparents, like eat like your
Yeah.
ancestors. And I think that with fashion, we should also think about it, how are we using natural dyes and how are we wearing clothes? What does that clothes feel like, right? And less of the convenience, but more of like what's actually healthy for us and healthy for the environment.
Completely, like the what it's farm to fork, right? That's the what a lot of people are doing, try to buy local produce and it's kind of the same thing with clothes, except you want to buy locally. If you're not able to buy locally, you want to have your clothes manufactured as close as to where the fiber originates from. So that could be the farm to fork. Like, so where does merino originate from? Spain, but most of it's found in Australia. So then you would want to find manufacturers in Australia that have the merino sheep near. Same thing with alpacas originate from the Andes. You would want to find the clothing manufacturing in Peru. So try to have a shorter supply chain because it's more likely the manufacturer will know the language, will know how to do business and understand the supply chain better. But nowadays, it's very common for a clothing brand to not really be in the location of the manufacturer. So how is that communication going to happen? How do you know what your supply chain looks like? How do you know how to innovate even? What can you add? Like there's a whole industry to show and it's that's been created and I feel like there's a disconnect, but we can definitely solve it. We can definitely get people to understand like like the farm to fork idea for clothing.
Which is exactly what you guys are doing. So we talked about the Himakan, right? Another really cool like material is alpaca wool, which is what Arms and Andy are carrying. So tell us a little bit more about alpaca wool. How is that different from other type of wool?
So we have merino wool and I think cashmere would be one, but so a lot of people compare alpaca wool to merino wool because of merino wool is the most common one out there. When people hear about alpaca wool, they think about coats and fashion items, but it's actually a very functional fiber. It's able to withstand like extreme climates from cold to extremely hot. And that goes back to where the alpacas originate from, which is in the Andes of Peru. So if you go to the Andes and you go to like Cusco or you go to Arequipa, it's going to start off being very cold. Like you will be shivering. It's usually below freezing temperatures. And then you have high winds, and then you have the hot sun on you, and then you have more high winds, and it could be raining, and it's just all in one day. You'll have these all extreme climates. And the alpaca, their clothes adapts to this extreme change in temperatures. Their fibers are meant for this. It's meant to be this functional. So the difference with merino is that merino originate from Spain. They are now I think they were exported to Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. Those are the top exporters of merino wool. And so the climates are a bit different there. It's not as extreme as compared to the Andes. It's not to say merino wool is not a great fiber. It's definitely very functional. It's also very soft as well. Both are great fibers, and they're both beautiful. And it's a shame when people mix recycled polyester with them, because it's ruining the beautiful fiber that it is. So the difference I've heard people say, and from what I've experienced, is that alpaca wool is softer, regulates temperature better, and importantly, it doesn't retain as much sweat. So if you're out and about and you're hiking and you're sweating, you're still going to stay dry. You're not going to have that odor. You can go on for as long as you want without washing it. And we have the alpaca wool and also natural white, which is the color of the alpaca. We're trying to perfect our natural dyeing. So the indigo, the turquoise, and the eucalyptus, we're trying to also do that for AOA. I'm actually wearing the men's V-neck, the men's V-neck natural blue, the indigo. It's just one of those days where you just want to wear a big shirt. But yeah, it was
nice.
thank you. I actually dyed it myself in on the on the website. You see me holding a t-shirt. This is it. But it was a lot of fun to learn more deeply how to dye the fabrics, because that's another solution to not always offering these natural colors. Is we can work with natural dyes, and very fortunate that Peru has a very good history with that, with natural dyeing.
That is amazing. Renzo, are you wearing like the Pimacan t-shirt, or are you also wearing the alpaca wool?
I'm wearing the Pima cotton underwear. Can't show that right.
That is like so amazing. Yeah, I didn't know that about alpaca wool, so this is really good education. And I can see you guys have a bro customer who joined us, says Arms of Annie is my new favorite brand.
I think I know what you're talking about too.
Nicholas, and super stoked to try your base layers. I'm like super
I know who he is
too.
They're really nice. Yeah, I think I've been in touch with them. Yeah.
So talked about the materials. We've talked about, all your considerations during the manufacturing process. And then when I was checking out your website, I was also really impressed. Like you really go for plastic free, even including your packaging.
Yeah.
Because I think the manufacturing process, people can't really see it, right? Like you can tell them what you're doing, but packaging is something like people can really see. And it's like the first interaction with the customers. So tell us, like, how are you making your packaging like plastic free?
So we use compostable packaging. Now, there's a lot of people that will say it's compostable packaging isn't the best, and it's something we want to definitely tackle and get the real answer to, because we know cardboard is another type of packaging out there. We've been in touch with another person that I forgot that recommended another solution to packaging. What we found with the compostable packaging that it's better than paper packaging is that it uses less space in a shipment. So something that you have to export from Peru to the US and to Europe, and you're going to need to fit as many items as you can in a certain box. If you were to use paper, you would have to send like 3 or 4 shipments than you would normally with something with compostable packaging or plastic or recycled plastic. So then you also kind of have to weigh that odds of, okay, is it worth using that plastic, or is it better to do the cardboard? And so we said, or let's switch with biodegradable plastic. So we biodegradable packaging is what we use for the inner packaging, because products do get damaged on the way. And that's, I don't think, something many people notice, but when I've received our packages from Peru, I have had the box destroyed because it's raining or something, and luckily it was packaged in something. Then having it shipped to the customer, that is shipped in a compostable packaging that we use with Better Co packaging. But we're it doesn't mean that we've stopped there. It doesn't mean like, hey guys, this is the solution. It has to be better. Like it always, like that's what Terry and Colin said with the interview that we did. Sustainability isn't an end goal, it's a point of view. And that's exactly what it is. So the clothes we make now, like, it's kind of interesting. How will they be in 10 years? Like, how sustainable? Like, how much can we push? Because like Renzo mentioned, solar panels in the manufacturing, the lubricants on the machines, um, things that we don't see in the supply chain, how that can be improved. So I'm wondering in 10 years, like what will come out of that? Like, that would be, because we're gonna keep pushing this. We're not gonna stop.
Well, I'm hoping in 10 years, everybody will be wearing Aya Eco fashion and everybody will be wearing Arms of Andes. So, where can people find you guys? Where are you selling? I know that you're selling in Europe and US, right? Where else? Like how can people find you and buy stuff?
Well, first, it's not that I want everybody to wear it.
I
do. We would love that. But in reality is, we can't do that. But we also wouldn't want to, because what we really want is to be an example of what a sustainable clothing brand is. So somebody that wants to develop their own clothing brand, this is how you do it. This is what you need to look for. Recycled polyester it's better than virgin polyester, but it doesn't mean it's sustainable. There has to be better solutions. And what does it mean to have recycled polyester? And is it chemically recycled and mechanically recycled, the microplastics that are leached, all of this information. So we want to be examples. We want to be leaders in sustainable fashion. And we're very fortunate that Peru has an industry of manufacturing, that we're able to learn that and get into the deep of our clothing production. And we hope to share as much as information we can for other people that want this, because the change we saw in the food industry, people asking for single origin coffee beans, people asking what are the issues with avocados, all of that information, we can see that happening in the clothing industry, when people are asking who makes my clothes, and that who makes my clothes is one bit of it. Who makes the fabrics, who makes the fibers, who's involved, who's affected. So we want to be examples. And of course, we would love everybody to wear our clothes and try it out. But we hope, like I do hope, that one day I could see other clothing brands following and also leading with us what is real sustainability. And you can find us on our website for Arms of Andes, and we're armsofandes.com and armsofandes.eu, because we're also in Europe. We're technically a Dutch company, as well as for Aya. There's ecoaya.com and ecoaya.eu. We also have our YouTube channel. It's called, I'm going to mess this up, Aya Media YouTube channel. It's still relatively new, but we put all our interviews there that we have with Dr. Verhaak, who found microplastics in our blood, the interview we just had with Dr. Shauna Swan that we still have to upload, and with Terry Collins as well. So every time we get new information, we upload our interviews. We try to ask the scientists who know more about this stuff than we do, because knowledge is key. The more information we spread, the more people are going to know about the issues of plastics and the issues of chemicals and and everything that comes with it. And then, I had one more thing, but I forgot to say. I think that's all I can remember now. But yeah, you can find us. Yeah, you can find us there. Oh, yes. Arms of Andes is in REI now. Oh.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah.
This is a huge milestone. This is wonderful.
We did. That's a big one, but I should remember more.
Yes, yes. That's like super important. So everyone, well, first of all, thank you so much for educating us on these topics. Well, thank you also for doing what you're doing, creating these brands, setting example, because it's so important. So, and also we have a pretty good turnout today, and I want to make sure everybody follow Aya Eco Fashion at eco.aya, and also follow Arms of Andes. Check out the YouTube channel Meli and Renzo created, because again, like education is the key, raising awareness is the key. That's completely aligned with what we're trying to do. And then go to your local REI or order some Himacon shirts or underwear and outdoor clothing from Arms of Andes. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having us. We really appreciate
Yes,
it.
soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.